Hawaii This Punch with LowKeyHighEntertainment and Hectic Games. I just wanted to talk to you guys today. I had a interesting conversation with another developer today about level design, and basically he wanted to have me build a certain building, model it out for him, that kind of thing. I'm not going to give his name out, and I'm not going to tell you what game it's for, but I wanted to make sure because there's a lot of important things that you need to understand when you create a level. And one of the biggest key things in level creation is a block out. I know it sounds kind of redundant, and it sounds like unnecessary in that weird way. But it is pretty essential, especially if you want to use your own custom graphics and custom models and things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and dive into this. So what we have here, I've been a little busy with my small little scene here. This is kind of my scene of chaos. But what we're doing here is we're going to go ahead and I'm actually going to add a couple buildings over here on this side. I think that's what we're going to do today. So a block out is essentially like if you zoom out on this level here, you have like, so I've installed kind of a road. I want it to go like through this mountain range and then like out the backside, maybe like kind of loop around or something like that. But for now, I'll have my starting point, which is about right here, and then my ending point, which is about, right there, roughly. So this scenario is going to be more like a small town, maybe a city or something, near, like a mountain range. That's kind of what I'm going for. But what you do is you basically come in and let's go ahead and add a new folder here. So this folder here, we're going to call this building 1. So in building 1 here, we're going to go ahead and add in, here's our little add button. We're going to add some shapes, a cube. The cube is probably the most important block out item, I believe, especially if you're doing like cityscape and things like that. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get this cube. We're gonna go ahead and put it down on the ground, and then we're going to press the spacebar button, and that'll change the settings between scaling, rotating, and moving. So we're gonna go ahead and scale it up. Let's say here, and then like we have the road here, so we want kind of like a sidewalk a little bit. So I'll say right here. It's always good to, when you do a block out, to have a key item. For instance, your character is a very good key item to have. For this tutorial, you can just go ahead and click your content drawer, go to mannequin or mannequin, and go to your meshes and just drag this mesh out just like that, and you'll get a little dude. And then what I like to do for good measure is to stack my dude twice. So just kind of give like a good, yeah, let's say about, yeah, right there. Okay, so we got 2 heights of the mannequin. And so when you walk into a building is usually about double the size you are, roughly. I believe it's an estimated 12 feet tall, depending upon the building, of course, but like apartment wise. So I'm going to go ahead and drag him out here to my building. So this is going to be a, well, let's drag this cube in first. Okay, so this cube here in your outliner, if you check it out, just to keep this organized, we're going to go ahead and scroll all the way up because there are a million little cubes in here, and you should definitely try your best to manage everything in a fashion. Wow, this is a lot. I'm apologizing for this. This is such a bad habit. Okay, so let's go with building 1. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click and drag this to building 1. This is cube 703, so I'm going to just call this BLDG 1. Okay, so this building here, every time I duplicate this, it'll stay in the folder. So that's pretty neat. Let's go ahead and make a door for this. So we have our mannequin here. Let's go ahead and drag this door out a little bit. There we go. Okay, and I kind of want this to be like a individual door. So let's scale it to about his width. So with his hands down, tight fit a little bit. So let's, bam, right there. Right, and we'll just shoot it down a little bit. Manny's about 6 feet tall, roughly. So he's kind of a tall mannequin. And usually, I would say a door is about 8 feet tall. So we'll just go ahead and give that another oomph. So that should kind of feel like a door to a player. And then we'll go ahead and put that door right here. And we'll minimize that just for graphics sake. Bop, bop. Okay, so now we have a door. And let's gonna go ahead and make this a shop. So we'll get the door, we'll get the, we'll drag this out here. And I'm pressing Alt and dragging off with that. So this window, let's make it kind of like a shop window. So maybe like that. Maybe a little bigger. Get a little bigger. Yeah, about right there, right? Okay, so we have the window, and we can even name this. So we'll say, oh, that's weird. I don't know why that did that. Yeah, I don't know why that did that. That's really weird. Okay, because for some reason it is thinking that it needs to do that. We'll have to fix that. Okay, so let's go ahead and duplicate this one more time. Drag it down, drag it out. About right here, roughly. And a little bit, yeah, right there. Okay, because his hands are going to be down. They're not going to be up when he's messing around. So we'll go ground level. A little higher on the door. About right here. Okay, so bam, and then shrink it down, bring it out. There we go. Okay, so now we have the door. Yeah, okay, so we'll hold Alt, move it, and then we'll lengthen it up, shorten it down a little bit. Probably make it about close to the same height as the door. And we'll do probably like that. Yeah, that's a good. That seems like a good good go on that. Okay, so from there, like I said, we kind of want like stories in the building if we want to be able to walk into the building. So let's go ahead and make this a floor. About right there. So here I know that this is going to be my floor. So in a blockout, it's a little better if you make everything slightly bigger than it's supposed to be. So like right here, and then let's zoom out a little bit here. Oh geez. There we go. Okay. And then we're gonna go ahead and pull this out. Okay. So we've got one floor, right? And then we can go ahead and stack these manis. Okay, so our ceiling is about the same as the top of the building. We could probably make that top a little shorter. So about right there. Okay, so now we have a nice little, whoa, 2-story building. Don't forget to adjust your camera speeds. Okay, so we have a nice little 2-story building. And let's go ahead and put 2 more windows up. I'm going to go ahead and name this one. We're going to hit F2 and then hit Windows. or call it windows. So they're all kind of the same texture and everything. So I'm going to drag that out. That's going to be Windows 2. So I guess my second story window, I suppose. And let's do something neat with it. Let's go 1, 2, oh, 3, and then 4. Move that in a little bit. Da, 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 da. One more. Barely. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so now we have this like little shop, and then we can go ahead and you know, if we want to be able to get in and out of the shop, let's just do a second door in the back, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe drag this door out. Nope. Hold Alt, drag the door out. I'm gonna go ahead and, I don't know, let's rotate that a little bit. Pull that down. And this will be like our dumpster, I guess. So I'll go ahead and hit F2. Call this dumpster. Okay, and then F2. Oh. Yeah, make sure. Okay, let's try that again. So, building 3 here. We're going to hit F2, not 2, and then we're going to type in backdoor. So it's always better to, while you're doing all these, to name these as you're going, just for like good measure. So we're going to call this front door. And don't leave any spaces. Make sure everything is like, you know, put on. So, okay. So we got that going. We have a window. We have got a door, etc. and so on. So from here, now we can go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and make a couple more cubes here. I'm not going to name them out because it doesn't really matter at this point in time. But I am going to keep that one building 1 going. So, so say I want to, say I want to drive this car and I want to stop and like go through the alleyways and stuff, you know. So we can go ahead and make, you know, a building here. We can make this one taller, maybe. Yeah, something like that. Kind of keep them on the same street level. There we go. Okay, and then like maybe let's put this to 4. Okay, and then maybe we're gonna go ahead and have like, you know, maybe an apartment building or something like behind them. So we'll have like something like that with that little alleyway kind of thing. So bam, maybe another one right here. Maybe it's a little shorter, maybe. And then like maybe, I don't know, another building that's like taller. It doesn't really, like I said, it doesn't really matter. You can do whatever you want. It's not like set in stone how things are made, you know. But the thing with BlockOut is that you want to make it realistic looking to your world, basically. So you kind of want like, and I say realistic to your world as in like it needs to fit in your world. So like when I press the play button here, my little person's gonna come in, and when I like look up, you know, like I made this sidewalk, you know, she steps up on it. It looks like it would be a real sidewalk in her world, I guess, with her height and everything like that. That looks like a pretty good, you know, tall tower. The doors are about the size, you know, of a double door. Windows look like windows, etc. and so on. You know, so you want to make the level where it's playable. You want like a start and an end, and the more detailed you get in your blockout, the better usually it comes in. So like when you see this, I know like, hey, I'm gonna make all these windows. I'm gonna make these little doors. I'm gonna put this little thing. Maybe put a door up here. You know, um, so I'm able to take all of this and do something with it. But because it's a blockout, it's rather condensed, I guess, if you want to call it that. Or it's basic. It's basic. That's what I'm trying to get into. Is that it's just a basic blockout. So like if I wanted, like I said, we got a dumpster back here. Maybe I want to get, maybe some cylinders. Maybe I want a cylinder. Maybe I want to shrink it, bring it up a little bit, make like these poles, maybe have some poles in the ground. Actually, they probably wouldn't be by the door, but maybe like right there, But yeah, something like that, and you can just go in and make this as blocky as you want. That's the cool thing about it, and then you can make it believable. So like we can, we know that this guy's about that height, so we can make these poles shorter, maybe like that. And so when we move him near the poles, they look like those little sidewalk street poles that you see, So from here, now that we have our basic blockouts, right? And then if you've been a good boy and girl or other, you would have everything in a folder like you're supposed to, because I did not do that the first time. So we did building 1. So if I go ahead and I click back door, I hold shift, click all the way to window, right? So now I got all my windows, I got my dumpster, I got all that awesome stuff. I can go ahead and go up to here in file, and I could say export selected. So we're going to go ahead and export that, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. I'm going to call this building 1, building 1. So we'll save that, and then it'll ask what kind of FBX you want. 2013 is a really good year, I guess. They go up to 22 or 20. But honestly, for a blockout building, this is good enough. So we'll export it. And then from here, we can go into Blender. As soon as that wants to load, we'll take its sweet time. But you see how it's kind of like looking, it's looking more like a town. Like if you drove by it, you're like, oh yeah, okay, there's little buildings and apartments and stupid shit. So that's, it's nice. It's nice. That Blender is taking forever. It's thinking about it. Okay, alright. So from here, I can go ahead and file. I can import my FBX. Go to the folder where I saved it. So building 1, import it, and then here's where the magic happens, I guess. Is that okay? So right here is where my building came in. So now I have my building in its hole, and I know exactly like what size it has to be. I know the parameters of the building, and if we go to the wireframe, you're able to see like, oh, okay, so this is this is the wireframe. This is what I can edit, everything like that. So now that I have this in Blender or any 3D modeling software, I can actually click something like the front door, and I can manipulate it to make it look like what I want it to look like. Or if I wanted to, I could go ahead and make a whole new object and just make it the size of this hoopla. So when I go ahead and I'm like, okay, I like this. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and like, you know, bevel some things, maybe push the windows in, um, you know, make some glass or something. And then I'm gonna go ahead and file, export. I'm gonna export as an FBX. Oh, hold up. I'm gonna click everything real quick. Bam. Bam. Okay. So now I'm going to export as an FBX, and then I'm going to come in. I'm going to go to my folder where I want to save it, and I'm going to type in building one underscore final. So I know that that is the final version of what I want this building to look like. So then we can go ahead and close Blender. If you want to save your scene, you can go ahead and do that. Not really necessary. So we're going to go ahead and come in here, go to my thing, and so I have building one final. I can come in here, go to my content. I'm just going to save it right here on the new content, or on the open folder, because I don't really use this level for anything but tutorials. So yeah, make your own folder, etc. and so on, and we'll just go ahead and drag this FBX. It'll ask us a couple things. If it's just a building, if it's not like a person or anything like that, or a moving object, don't worry about skeletal mesh. Everything should be fine. Just go ahead and import it, and it'll take its sweet time to do that. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. So from here, now I have all, the building, all this good stuff, and what you can do is save it, right? And then if you press it and you hold shift and click all your walls and everything, it'll come in as one object. So now it's one object. And what I can do with this is I can go ahead and be like, okay, so this is where I wanted my object to be. So we're going to go ahead and drag it over the old one. Like legit over the old one. And we're like, okay, so now this is what the building, the building that I want. And we'll go ahead and hit this folder, and we will just go ahead and delete everything there. And so now we have a better looking building from Blender that we tweaked. We went ahead and beveled some stuff, did all that, texturing, etc. and so on. And that is how you would fix everything after a blockout. So when you're blocking out your level, like I said, it's basic squares, basic rocks or pathways, etc. and so on. And you can almost use anything that you want to represent in that space. And when you go into Blender or Maya or whatever software that you're using, you can alter them, and then once they're done, bring them back into Unreal, and you'll have your own custom item or whatever. But that way, when you block it out, you know exactly where it goes. It's scaled exactly how it is, because the scale problem here is, if, like, say, let's take my little car here, right? If I build a building in Blender and I'm like, okay, so I'm done with this building, it looks super cool, and then I bring it into Unreal Engine, I might have to scale it. And the problem with scaling things, if you look, you'll notice that, like, things don't align up. So like right here on the trim, you can see the little vertices or the corners of things, especially if I'm like, oh man, I wanted this building to fit like right here, in the background, but I didn't want it to be, I wanted it to be taller. So I'm like, okay, so let's go ahead and make it taller, right? So now your door that was once this size is now huge, and your building just looks off. So by doing that little trick with Blender and Maya and everything like that, you're able to have the building in the exact same place as your block out that you wanted, and it'll look nice and clean. So, but that's that. We're gonna go ahead and start Project Kiana tomorrow, and hopefully the model will be done in the next couple days or so. We're not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure on that, but we'll keep you updated. Just go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll get that game rolling out. I promised you guys an options menu, and tomorrow I will deliver 1000% on that options menu. So until then, you guys have a nice day.